Okay, guys, so today I'm going to react to Sawyer Klatt, the 20-year-old phenom who recently competed at Junior Nationals and took first place. So if you like this kind of content, give it an upvote, subscribe, comment for the sake of the algorithm. I appreciate it. Now I'm going to have Sawyer on. I'm going to interview him on Saturday. So that podcast probably won't be up for another week or two because I'm going to release the John Hack podcast on Friday. And then I've got to talk to Sawyer on Saturday, and then we got Larry Wheels coming up on Tuesday. Also, at some point, I'll probably talk to Ryan Dengler, but I'm gonna have him come down and do the podcast in person if he travels down this way because we are kind of talking about that. And then David Lade at some point. I know all these guys are friends. I'll have David Lade on at some point as well on the podcast. So we'll just keep rolling with them. But let's look at Sawyer today because this guy's blowing up. Check out his YouTube. He's got like 35,000 subscribers. He's gonna be the real deal. He is most famous for pulling 800 pounds at 18 years old. So that's something I can't even say. I obviously had a pretty good career, but like I was pulling 700 at like 19, and there's freaks coming along now. It's like Sawyer pulling 800 pounds at 18, and albeit his meat pull is 750, he tried for 804. It wasn't quite there, but we'll get into more of that later. I'm going to show him some of his footage and such. But let's look at his competition numbers, just like we did with Ryan. Um, so 2021, 628 squat, and then 2022, 628. Looks like he missed. Maybe there was a depth call. I have to look at it. But I understand the natty struggle myself because that's one thing I've dealt with where, like, back in November, I got up to a 392 bench. And then now I'm like grinding away trying to get back to 380. So it's just like the ups and downs of being natty. You just don't have the consistent progression. And like here, he was 17 compared to here, 19. So this is must have been when he just started getting into lifting, which I'll ask him kind of, when he got into lifting, at what age, what his background is, because I know he's from Minnesota as well, which is cool because we kind of share that Midwest connection. I'm from Wisconsin, so I don't know what part of Minnesota, but I'll ask him all those questions. And if you guys have any questions you want me to ask him, you know, I'll probably do a Q&A actually in the community tab. We can go over it there. But 628 squat at basically 220 pounds, that's freaking amazing. Um, so and Ryan, I think what was Ryan at? Ryan was at like 612. So these guys are really good squatters. They're all kind of in that same ballpark. Ryan was at 622. Let's not short him. So very talented squatters. Bench 375, not too shabby. 358 last year. That's reasonable progression. 7.5 kilos in the span of a year. So bench, he's one of those guys like myself. Like bench is the struggle. We got the longer arms. We're built for deadlift, but bench is always going to be a little harder for us. So I totally understand that. And then let's look at his deadlift here. Go down. Deadlifted 606, missed 655 at his first meet. Went up to 766, and then he got 750 at this last meet where he tried 804. So his total was actually 5 pounds less at this last meet, but still ridiculous numbers like 750 at let's move this over here. 750 at 220 is crazy. Let's actually look at what some of the numbers were here, Junior Nationals. Sean Mills. Let's see what Sean Mills hit. I know my face is getting in the way. 733 deadlift, 729, 730 squat, 424 bench because he's a big name as well. So Sawyer's over here ninth, but he won his weight class, I believe. No, there might have been this guy, Noah Urbanski. But anyway, pretty good numbers all around. Guy's definitely a beast. Let's look at some of his footage here. So I think this was a year or two ago. Let's look. When did he do this, guys? This is about a year ago. He had 800-pound deadlift, and he was with David Lade here. So 165 warm up, great sumo leverages. You can see he's got his feet out to the ends of the bar. This is on a power bar as well, it looks like. Up 231 here, easy. You see how he makes himself like tall? He makes himself as tall as possible by pushing his shoulders down into the bar and extending his arms. This is what I was talking about, and I'm going to, you'll see later in the day here when I do this Mark Ripito video. This is why you want as much tension in the arms as possible. You don't want the arms being slack at all. He does a great job with that. Here we're up to 397 because this is a power bar. 397, easy work. What is that? We're up to how many are on there? 496. 496, making easy work of it still. It's kind of funny how like really good deadlifters, they can make like 500 pounds look just as easy as their first warm up with 155 pounds. That's one thing you'll notice. Like really good deadlifters, all the way up to a certain weight, even like 700 pounds, will make every rep look just as fast, even though they're adding more weight. It's crazy. That's just how well the technique is dialed in. 540 here, really easy. I don't know what kind of bar that is. It looks like it has a little bit more give than an Ohio Power Bar, but I can't tell. It's definitely not a deadlift bar. What do you rep that out for, like 5, 6? Easy stuff. So is this actually the video with the 800-pound deadlift? I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back. Oh, here we go. That was just rep work, and then we'll go back here and we'll find some footage at Zoo Culture. Now, okay, so this is the 800-pound deadlift. Keep in mind here as well, guys. Zoo Culture is notorious for having lighter plates. So these look like these are the same freaking plates that Maxed Out Jim had when I would train there, and the plates were always like 42 pounds. So really, what may look like an 800-pound deadlift may actually be like a 775, 780. So keep that in mind. Like everyone hits PRs at Zoo Culture. This is like my 920 deadlift from the back room at Maxed Out might have been like 900 or 895 even because it was these same plates where excuse me, they're really like 42-pound plates. But this is still ridiculous. Like 800-pound deadlift at 19. Absurd. Let's look at it here. Look at that hook grip. That hook grip is dialed in. Let's go back. He smoked that. This guy is one of the more talented up-and-comers. Let's just take a look at his form overall. So this is a deadlift bar. So notice on the stiff bar we just showed you, he had his feet to the end, but the deadlift bar is a half foot longer. So a standard bar is 7 feet. This is 7.5. So his stance doesn't look quite as wide here. That's one reason it doesn't look the same. He's got pretty long arms. You can see he sets the hook. And one thing I like about his style is he's very explosive. He doesn't waste time getting set up. He literally just goes up to the bar real quick, sets his hook, and pulls. There's no wasted motion. He's not taking forever to set up. That's one thing that really benefits him to make him more explosive. That's one thing I was saying with Ryan, he could do maybe a better job of, like really just get up to the bar real fast, be aggressive, set your grip, and roll. Like you don't want to waste a ton of time setting up. It's going to make you weaker. You're going to expend more energy. So he does a really good job of just being very fast. Looks like he's getting a little off balance, but he got it completely clean. Huge pull. That's kind of how I reacted when I pulled 900. I was freaking out. It's just like the best feeling in the world when you're hitting, you know, those kind of milestones, 800, 700 even. But let's look at his meat here. So this is the 282 and a half, which is 622. So 622 here. Let's see how this looks. This was from Junior Nationals like I talked about. Sunk the freaking depth. Holy cats. That's one thing that really impresses me about the USAPL lifters. These guys sink the depth, a lot of them. Like, that was buried. You wouldn't see that depth in a lot of other federations, but that was crazy. So, mad respect for that. So, this is the 628. This is the one that was missed. Let's see what happens. Are they freaking kidding me right now? They depth called him there. That's trash. Trash call. Gosh, this is my problem with the USAPL. Yes, it's the most legitimate federation. They should implement blood work testing in the form of LH, FSH, testosterone, and estradiol at the very least. They should be having these guys check estradiol, FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, and total testosterone and free testosterone. That would be way more fair. That would make things way better as far as the drug testing. My other problem, though, with the USAPL is the depth calls are so inconsistent. Like, did we really see much of a difference in his depth between the 622 and the 628? I mean, let's go back here. This is 622, 622.8. Obviously, great depth. He got it. But let's take a look now at the 628. Like, I don't know how you can call depth on this. Maybe a smidge higher than the 623? Maybe a smidge. But come on, people. Like, let's try to find the still frame of the lowest point of the squat. I mean, come on, bro. Does he have to go much lower than this, really? Is that high? This is from the front, and I'm clearly calling it good depth. So that's a trash call. I don't know. Two of the judges gave him a red light on that. That was garbage. But whatever. Should have counted. I'm upset for him. What is this one? Is the 353 bench smooth enough? He's got a very wide grip. What do you think he's got here? Index fingers on the rings? Looks like max width as far as his grip. So this is 364. Obviously, with those long arms, bench is going to be the toughest, but he's probably trying to maximize his leverages by going as wide as possible. So I think the next one he goes 375, 170. Let's see how that one looks. Yep, this is 375. This was his PR on bench. This isn't the best angle as far as being able to see, but a tough rep, maybe at 380, but strong guy overall, like very strong. A lot of potential in the sport. Now we get to deadlift, the fun part. This is a 705 opener. So 705. You see, okay, this is what I was talking about. Look at how much wider his stance looks with the stiff bar as opposed to the deadlift bar. This is a 7-foot bar. When he's on the 7.5-foot bar on his 800-pound deadlift, his feet weren't anywhere near the ends, but here they are. So that just goes to show the difference. This is if this is an Ohio power bar, very stiff bar. So that could be it looks like what they're pulling on, I'm not sure. I mean, that's effortless, guys. That is effortless. That technique is just perfected because if you watch what happens here, he literally just grabs the bar and it pops right off the floor. And the reason for this is, unlike what Mark Rippetoe says, he has so much tension through his arms. And hook grip really allows you to maximize the tension. So look at the tension. Look at the freaking tension. See the slack pull there? Even though this isn't on a deadlift bar, see the slack pull, the tension through the lats, him pushing the shoulders down, tremendous form, and that allows him to get tight off the ground and pop the bar right up. So really good stuff. Really fast pull. So I think he's going to go to 750 next. Here we are, 750, 340 kilos. Little more of a struggle off the floor, but still really easy. Very easy rep. I don't blame him. I think he went to 804 next, which why not, given how it's moving. Crazy stuff. James Cole is in here. This is a 644. Don't know much about this guy, but he snuck in the video. Oh, we didn't see his. Sorry, James. This is Sawyer's 804, though. Let's take a look at this. So you see the 800 pounds of zoo culture. This is 365 kilos, 804. Let's see how this one goes. Oh, you got the ammonia out for that one. Now, this is another thing, guys. With the ammonia, you really should only be using it on your last deadlift attempt. I see guys use ammonia on every single attempt, and it's ridiculous. Like, you're going to burn your CNS out faster because ammonia does give you a bit of an adrenaline rush. So why would you want to use all your adrenaline rushes prior to, your deadlifts? Like, I see people doing it on bench openers, on squat openers. It's ridiculous. Ammonia should really be saved for that third deadlift when you're really trying to go all out and send it. That's really the key. So let's see how this one goes. I always thought 804 looks so good on the bar. You got all the reds and you got the blue and the collar. It looks great. Just not quite enough power off the floor. So if he just works on his low back strength, 45-degree back raises, conventional deficits again, I think that's really going to help him. Because that's my main thing. If you're missing sumos off the floor, your technique is dialed in. You got to bring up the low back and hamstrings. Even Nordic hamstring curls would be very beneficial. So Nordic hamstring curls, glute ham raises, 45-degree back raises. If I were coaching him, I would have him blitz the hell out of his hamstrings. Tons of hamstring work is what I would implement for him. Maybe 3 days a week of hamstrings, a lot of low back training, and I bet that would bring his deadlift right up. Obviously, with an athlete of this caliber as well, you're gonna have to do a high degree of specificity. So, we could have him squatting 3 days a week, benching 4 or 5 days a week, and then deadlifting even 3 days a week, because that's what it takes to maintain this caliber, this level of strength. Overall, crazy strength though. It's very impressive to see. So like I said, I'll have him on. We'll do his interview for the podcast on Saturday. I'll post a John Hack one on Friday. And if you guys like this content, I'll keep it coming. Give it an upvote, subscribe, and comment for the sake of the algorithm. I try to get back to all you guys in the comments as much as I can, and I appreciate the support. So I'll keep them coming.